this is the Cursing Seamstress back again for another video. Today I want to show you a few things, including some pillow covers and a couple of other things that, that I've made over the past week or so. So first, the pillow covers. This is pretty simple. This I did not put any embroidery on. I did make the piping out of the same fabric. I got this fabric from a yard sale, and it is a Cowboys and Indian print. I put a zipper in the back. This is a 12 by 16 pillow cover. Again, these forms can be found at Joann's in this size or Walmart. I think they're about $3. They're pretty inexpensive. So I'm really proud of this one. It's pretty nice for a little boy to put on his bed or to travel in the car with or take to daycare or school. So I thought that was pretty nice. The second one I did is an embroidery. I did this, I bought some fabric from Walmart. It's white, it's sort of a canvasy fabric. I did my own piping on this with some leftover fabric. And this says Holly Jolly Christmas, and there's some sort of a creature on there. Looks like a, I don't know what it is. A, it's not a hedgehog, a mole, or I don't know what. But they came out really well. And the back, I also put a zipper opening. And so I thought that was pretty. I think this design came from either Embroidery Library or Urban Threads. Those are the two places I usually buy from. So, and this I think is a 16 by 16 pillow cover. All right, and just to kind of break the monotony of the pillow covers, I did something a little different. I went to Goodwill a few weeks ago, and they really don't have a fabric department, but they do have a linens department, and they have their linens hanging from hangers, and in there you'll find you know, traditional bed linens, comforters and sheets and pillowcases and tablecloths and things like that. But in there I was lucky enough to find, and they had quite a bit of fabric that was hanging up, and you really had to look close to see that it was simply fabric and not a sheet or something else. So I found this white fabric. It was in perfect condition. Probably there were about 4 yards of it. And so white fabric is always useful. You can always find something to do with it. And I thought that I would make pillowcases out of it. So I just used Mbird, the digitizing program, which you don't even need to have. You could use anything to look at your embroidery files. And I just used pre-bought fonts. And I made Mr. and Mrs. pillowcases out of this white fabric. And it is not as lightweight as sheeting material. It's just a little bit heavier. And the bottom part I had left over from some pillows that I had made. And I put Mrs. on this. And for the other pillowcase, I put, of course, Mr. And I did standard pillowcases. This white fabric has a little bit of a grain that goes across it, which is kind of nice. It's like I said, again, it's not, it's lightweight, but it's not really sheer at all. So I ironed those up really nicely, and they came out really well. I top stitched across this area, not cross, just top stitched across here, and I did serge the inside here where I added this printed piece, And I sewed and I serged inside. You can see that seam. So the pillowcase pattern that I follow is the kind where you have a fold on one side. This is an open edge and one side is an open edge. And before you stitch it together, you cut this out, this design piece, printed piece, and you sew it to the entire bottom of the pillowcase. And then once you've done that, you can finish this part off, top stitch or whatever, and then you would sew across this top edge here and down one of the sides. So that one of the sides is a folded edge and the other side is a stitched edge. And you can find that online, on YouTube, a lot of different places. That's the easiest way that I found to do a pillowcase. I know they've got the jelly roll type of pillowcase. I've never done that. And I did not put piping or anything across here. That would really finish it off nicely. I did not do that. The measurements that I used for my pillowcase, the white part, measured 24 inches, 24 and a half inches on the long side, the length of it, and the width of it was 19 and a half inches. And then the edge piece, the printed piece to finish it, is 10 inches folded, because the end of it is, you fold that over. So it would be 20 inches, and then you fold that over, sew that around, and then you would stitch that to the bottom of the pillowcase. And of course, the width would also be 19 and a half inches, the same as the width of the pillowcase. So, and it's a standard pillowcase. I didn't get the measurements from online. I just took a pillow that I had and measured it. And you can play with that piece that you add on. You can make it, bigger or thinner. You just need to adjust the length of the other part, the white part on mine, and just adjust it to fit. So the final thing I wanted to show you were some kitchen towels. I've used this pattern before. This is the kind of kitchen towel that you, this part opens out. You fold this over one of your pulls in your, on your drawers in the kitchen. And I used a button for this closure. You could use a snap if you wanted to. The bottom looks like this. It's a gauzy cotton fabric. It's pretty thin. It's very easy to work with. What I did was I just I serged and then folded over twice the edges. I serged the top part here that goes underneath this fold over part. And again, on the other side, I did the same thing. I serged it, folded it over twice. The hem, the same thing. That was the last thing to finish the plaid part, was to serge it and fold it over twice. And I did double stitch that. I don't know if you can see, I used white thread, and I just did a double stitching to finish that off. This piece is so easy to do. You can see the shape of it. And I did use interfacing to give it a little bit more stability. And I made the pattern. I made two of these, by the way, for her. I made this pattern. I saw this online, and I just made my own pattern for this top piece. And I was going to show you the measurements of this. If you wanted to do it, it's not hard. It's not rocket science, or else I would not be doing it. But this piece measures at the widest part at the bottom. It measures about 10 inches, so I drew a line there. At the top part, this rounded portion here, this measures about 5 inches, and then the height of this from top to bottom is about 8 inches. Hi, it's the Cursing Seamstress back again. I'm wearing something different. It's the next day. My memory card kept giving out, so I'm going to try to finish this up kind of quickly. I think the last thing I was talking about, I don't remember, but it was this, I think this piece that goes at the top of your hand towel for the kitchen or for anywhere that folds over. So what I do is I cut 2 of these and then I turn it inside out. You can use a little interfacing if you need a little bit more substance to the fabric. And then I turn it inside out and I trim around the curves here. I usually don't have to clip the curves. And then I fold under this edge about 1/4 of an inch. I make a buttonhole in this part here, or you can put a snap. And then I cut whatever fabric that I'm using for the towel. Whatever length that you want it to be, whatever width that you want it to be. I either gather it, which I don't like doing, or I just create pleats. And I usually, as I said earlier, I will serge the top edge of that piece of fabric, tuck it in here, pleat it to fit, pleat it evenly, stitch across it, and then I will stitch all the way around, just top stitching around the top. And then you have a wonderful hand towel that folds over onto your handle of a drawer or cabinet, and it looks really nice, and it doesn't fall on the floor. It's attached. It's really good, especially if you've got children who, you know, grab the hand towel and throw it down, or it slips down or whatever. So that's that. The final thing that I wanted to show you was, remember this pattern I showed you? I went to Habitat for Humanity and I found this vintage pattern that I assume is from the 80s. Here's the line art. It's a pair of little boys' pants. They're full. They have pleats in the front, just a couple of box pleats in the front, and you can, it's meant to be rolled up at the bottom. I'm not sure if you can see that. I worked on this for my 4-year-old, and I'm not done, but I'm almost done, I think. I do not like simplicity patterns. I think their instructions are horrible. As a matter of fact, even with this pattern, it reminded me how I don't like simplicity. They left off a step, but I've been sewing long enough where, you know, I can kind of figure out what's left out and make do and fill in the blank. So this is what I have so far. I've never done a pair of elastic pants or skirt or anything with a placket in the front. So this is a little placket, and it's elasticated around from the placket is not, and then it's elasticized all the way around the back. This called for side pockets. I don't like side pockets. I didn't think this needed any more bulk, so I put a contrasting pocket on the hip. And I have not finished the bottoms. The bottoms will be done out of the same contrasting plaid fabric here, which really coordinates well with this fabric that I'm using. This fabric is from Walmart, and it's like a brushed cotton. It almost feels like felt. The seams don't have to be finished. It doesn't ravel, although I did use pinking shears and a zigzag stitch, I think, in the crotch. But when I washed it, which I always do for any fabric that I use before sewing, it shrank so much. I only bought 1.5 yards, which was more than enough. It shrank so much, and the shrinking alone would not have been that much of a problem, but it shrank so unevenly. When I folded the fabric over, I couldn't even match the raw edges. The piece that I would fold over from the fold, the raw edge, was at a slant. I couldn't even meet the raw edges. It's horrible, and I think it was not expensive, but it was maybe $2.50 or something a yard. It wasn't worth that much when you consider how difficult it was to try to cut out the pattern with that issue. I was able to get everything I needed on there, pretty much, but I did use the contrasting trim on here to finish it off, and I don't think I could have done that with the way that it shrank. So anyway, so that's it. These are going to be really kind of cute. I hope they fit him. I cut a size 5. He's between a 4 and a 5, and he's a skinny little thing. So I always have to be careful with the waistband and cut off about an inch and a half of any elastic that I use so that it will fit. But I think they're going to be kind of cute. I'll try to show them to you once I get done with them. I just hope his mother lets him wear them. I think she will. So anyway, thank you so much. If you enjoy my videos, I hope you will subscribe or click like. That'll help my channel. I appreciate it. And I will have more to show you next week. So please tune in. Thanks for watching.